all the time in the world.
In at number 1, overfeeding. Yes, that's right, my fishy friends. You could be killing your fish with kindness. Overfeeding your fish can cause bloat and other things, and also uneaten food will just decompose in your tank, turn into ammonia, turn into nitrate, and it just means that their maintenance becomes a lot more work. If you read the back of your instruction on your fish food, it will say feed several times a day. This is way too much. Don't be afraid to miss a day. Your tank will absolutely love that. In at number 2, inappropriate tank size. Yeah, fishy. I mean, don't beat yourself about it. We've all been there. We've all won that goldfish at the fair, and we've all bought the little plastic tank to go with it. But do yourself a favour, get straight onto Marketplace, Gumtree, Craigslist, whatever you need to do. Buy the biggest tank that you can fit in that space. You'll appreciate it in the long run. Relax, it's a tomato. But that's one surefire way of killing your fish. Inappropriate tank size. Now, we've all seen people that have got koi carp in a tiny bowl, and then you see it swimming around and around. But the water changes you have to do to maintain that water parameters as a decent water parameter for your fish would be hourly, not daily, not weekly, hourly. So do yourself a favour, go for the biggest tank that's possible and understock at first. And remember, you can always add fish later on. It's harder to take them away, but you can always add. And that's one of the joys of the hobby, buying fish. In at number 3, stress! I just want to be left alone, leave us alone. That's right, sometimes your fish just wants to be left alone. You're messing on with the tank, keep on sticking your hands in, putting the lights on, is all going to stress it out. From bringing it home from the shop, all the way up to getting bullied off other fish in the tank, all causes stress. pH, nitrate, water parameters, all can cause stress. So the best thing you can do is turn the light off and give it time. But even then, your fish may still check out. You can buy stress coat to try alleviate some of the stress. API does one. But sometimes the fish is just of a nervous disposition, and what will be, will be. Stressed? What do you mean I'm stressed? I just love coffee. Little tweaks.
So the next ones go together like hand and glove, like a Godfather trilogy. In at number 4. Is lack of tank preparation. This is sort of thing on Michael.
Failing to set your tank up from the very start is just a recipe for disaster. Things like deco, like rocks and driftwood, can all contribute to pH swings. That might not work in your favour, which could actually be detrimental to your fish's health. Trying to balance your tank before you put your fish in is always the best solution, and it'll save you waking up to what looks like a cult mass exodus in the morning. Researching your fish's requirements from the very start is the best way to go. And I'm not on about going on the internet and having a quick look to see what the internet says, because most of the fish that you'll be buying will be bought from a fish shop. Ask the fish shop or the supplier of your fish what's their parameters and try and emulate them for your fish is the best way to ensure good success. Setting out a plan from the very start and sticking to it is a great way to maximise your chances of success in keeping fish, and keeping your fish swimming upright and costing you money to replace them. That's why I come up with my Frankenstein filter. Hey, forget about it. What's this? It's a Sicilian message, Sonny. It means Luca Brazzi sleeps with the fishes. Hey, if you're liking this video, why don't you do me a favor and make me an offer I can't refuse, and hit that like button.
And then number 5 is God for the part 2 with this classic poor water condition.
Yes, in at number 5 is poor water conditions. Do yourself a real big favor with this one, guys. Buy a test kit, whether it's test strips or the full solution kit. Buy yourself one and make sure you use it. The water in your tank can go sour pretty fast, and the smaller the tank, the quicker that reaction can happen. pH and ammonia has a direct correlation, and you can research this to its toxicity for your fish. If you're keeping a high pH, ammonia becomes more toxic very fast.
I know it was you, Fredo. You broke my heart.
It should have been me, Mikey. You was my kid brother.
Just when I thought it was out, they pulled me back in. And at number 6, not 5, but 6. Wow! Bad tank management.
Yes, simply forgetting to do the basic things from the very start could cause death in your fish tank. Things like not remembering to plug things back in after a water change, and also not keeping the correct temperature. Heaters go faulty quite often and you don't even realise, so keeping an eye on that. Not keeping on top of your water change schedule is also something else, bad tank management. Nothing kills your fish quicker than neglect and forgetfulness.
Our true enemy has yet to show his face.
So while making this little video happened and unfolded as one of my angelfish decided to go belly up, and I was forced to go looking for medication at the 11th hour. Luckily I got some medication, but unluckily it didn't work out well for the fish in the end. Having a variety of medications on hand and also the means to set up a hospital tank is always good practice when it comes to disease. These little tips will help you in the long run and help you deal with disease going forward and make you a better fish keeper. And keeping your fish alive and healthy is always top priority in the aquarist's world.
Are you looking at me? I'm talking to you. Are you looking at me? What you gonna do about it? Huh? You want a piece of me? Huh? I don't just want a piece of you.
I want the whole damn pie. Inappropriate tank mates is a surefire way of losing your fishy friend, simply by putting the wrong fish in with each other. Can you imagine adding a small carnivore that's going to grow to be a big carnivore in with your little omnivores? There's only going to be one winner when it comes to that, and it's going to be the Raji that wins.
Hey, fishy, fishy, fishy. Let's be friends.
Also things like tank parameters. Mixing your lower pHs with your higher pHs is only going to end in disaster. Bad tank mates, that's what's going to happen. So try and keep them separated if possible. But what they tell you is a good community fish might not always be a good community fish. I mean, they still sell baler sharks and they grow to some size. Do yourself a favour and research your fishes before you add them into your community tank, if it is a community tank. If not, try and stick to species only. And remember, they might look the same size, but they might not always be the same size. So look after your fishy friend. Welcome back to Aquarium Delirium News. Here's your top story. Yes, in at number 9, you've been a dumbass. Yes, we've all been guilty of this one, and if they tell you otherwise, they're lying. Just lately, my biggest mistake was that I filled it full of kitty litter, not realising kitty litter's got a pH of 8, and I'm trying to keep the pH of 6.5, and of course pH just rose. Could have been detrimental to the fish in that tank because they need a lower pH. Even things like this, couldn't control it. Also other things like washing your deco in bleach, doing daft things like that. We all see these little videos on YouTube and we think, if they've done it, it must be alright. I mean, the big one at the minute is water change. Do you do them? Don't you do them? Fact is, what works for one doesn't work for the other. If you've got a tank that's so heavily planted and 3 cardinal tetras swimming around in it, you're not going to need water change. But if you've got a tank full of cichlids with no plants, you're going to do 80% water change pretty often. Don't beat yourself up about this one. We've all been a dumbass sometime.
In at number 10, this showstopper.
I can recall Angel the fish's first night in incarceration. That new fish cost me a full pack of smokes.
So you've reached the end of the video, and here's your redemption. Sometimes, no matter how hard you try, it's out of your control. Fish have a natural life cycle, and sometimes when you buy them, it's actually at the end of that life cycle. But you don't know this, especially with little fish like tetra that only live 2 years. Sometimes you've bought it 18 months old, and that's out of your control. So try not to beat yourself up about this one, and remember to enjoy your fish.